G'day guys, welcome back. Okay, now we've got the underneath all out of the way and done. I think we'll start at the top and work down. So we'll get the roof all prepped. I'm going to keep this two-tone, so the gold with the white roof. I'm going to keep it sort of grandpa spec. I've got the Venetians for the back, they're over there. And I've got the old sun visor on the front, you know, and the old column shift. So I want to keep it sort of like that. But in order to do that, I've had to get hold of some trims that come along the C-pillar like this. They had them for two tones and vinyl roofs in the XR and T, and they are pretty hard to get hold of. And if you can get a decent set, which I have done here, they want your testicles for them. So anyway, I've worked out a deal and got these, and they're actually quite a nice set. So pretty happy with that. So they just, whoop, wrong side. So they just go along here like this. So we're gonna have to measure these up. I've got a reference photo of where they're meant to sit, and then we'll drill the holes and get those mocked up. And then I've also, because I replaced this in an earlier video, I've got to go through and put these little mounting rivets in there, along the bottom, missing a couple at the top and down the sides as well. So we'll put those in, and then we'll get the roof prepped, and then we'll come down and we'll do the door jambs in the gold and all the inside of the doors in the gold with the little touch-up gun. Because like I mentioned, I've only got one shot at the rest of this paint, so I've got to be pretty careful with it. And that's about it. So let's get cracking. First I've got to do is clean up all the old crap from in here, the old window sealer. We'll get rid of that, and then I'll get that visor off, and we'll just prep the roof, get him in some undercoat, and just keep moving on. Righto, I've got that cleaned up around there. I've riveted in a few more of these guys right around there along the bottom. I've got a template here that shows where our C-pillar trims have to be. So probably help to have the door on too there, but we'll just see how we go. So I'm going to make up a template over here. I just had to get the old epoxy bit of cardboard off the 6-pack. But anyway, I'll punch a hole there and then poke it through that stem, and then get our other holes and then just trace it round. Get some this stuff here, just some low tack mounting spray, and we'll mount that cardboard where this is meant to go, and then we'll find our holes. I think that's the best way to do it, but we'll give it a crack. Okay, so I'll just punch this hole out here. If I get that the right way around, might help. Get these off. So if I sit that in there, and I should be able to get these holes. One there. And one there. Well, let's see if we can find those. You still on camera or what? Where's me thing? Oh, that's right, it went flying. That's right, forgot. All right, where are we? On camera. Okay, where's our hole? One there. And where's the other one? There, so it should be, yep, there he is. Right there. Right, so I'll put this back in here. There. On there. Okay, so not super even, but okay. And if you flip it over, probably hard to do it on camera, but I'm just going to hold that flat and just trace around it, get our template. Okay, so the template's drawn out. We'll cut him out, see how we go. So it's going to go somewhere here. Whoop, shit. Hang on, I'll just tape that bit. Okay guys, drama time. So I tried to get this template to fit along here properly and it wouldn't. And it's because of this here. When I replaced this section, I was told, forewarned, that these sections here are an absolute crappy fit. But I just followed it along with the seam up here. All these corners were rotten away on both sides. So what I did was put this section in and married it up to the seam along here. That's all you get. You don't get right out to here. You only get to there, along here. And so I just sat it into place and then tack welded that in, and then basically used that along here as a guide to continue on here. But the go is, and I should have done this is inexperience and whatever, hindsight. Before I did all this, I should have put this chrome in here like I've done now to get the right gap. So what we've got now is a big gap here. So this for the chrome trim was sitting down here and it wouldn't fit. So now that I've put the chrome together and sat it all in here where it's meant to be, you can see the gap I'm left with, and it's just totally not acceptable. And now that I've moved this up to where it's meant to be, that fits properly. So here's our problem. We've got this big gap along the bottom here, which I'm going to have to come up with a plan to close that gap. So I'm going to work on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I actually can get from my local bloke who does body, makes these panels. He does these sections here, which is the curve that runs along there like that. Now this is tricky because it's curved both ways. It's curved this way and it's curved that way. So it's a real pain in the ass section. But if I can get a full length of that back off him, I use bits of this to patch this. If I can get bits of this, I might be able to jig something up and close that gap, but I don't know, that's going to be a mission. So anyway, we'll just have to work out what we're going to do there. Yeah, I'm just not quite sure. The only way I can think of is just to get a piece of strap, but the angles is what's going to stuff us, these dodgy bends on it. So in the centre is okay, we can deal with that. Right in the middle there, that gap, that'll pull out all right. But it's just as it comes this way, it flares out here. So look at that, that's a good, what, fucking 10mm gap or something there, at least. Yeah, 15mm gap right there. So anyway, we'll just have to work something out there. I'll do a bit of research and we'll come back to that. Okay, day 2. So I've just put the boot on to have a look where we're at there. It lines up okay along here, but all this area is untouched, so it should line up. It's sitting lower, the boot's sitting lower than the guard here. So we might have to put a spacer in under there, under the bolts. Same here, that's sitting lower. But if you come this side, if I lift the boot up to match the guard there, well, we're in the middle here, you can see the big gap along here. And then this boot is sitting higher than this now. So, you know, these are here. I've spoken to a lot of people about these particular replacement panels along here, you know, the generic ones, and they've all said the same thing. They shouldn't even be selling these. They are such a shithouse fit that, you know, they need to go back to the drawing board and redo them, because they are just crap. And everyone has said the same thing. So if you people are listening who are selling these, stop selling them. They're shit. Anyway, we're just going to have to deal with it. So I'm not sure how we're going to close that gap there. I have no idea at all. And I have no idea really how to sort that gap out there, you know. Obviously the easiest thing is get another shell, you know, and just cut the whole fucking thing out there and replace the whole thing, because this is all I've got to work on for a template. That's not accurate, because they flex and move and, you know, come apart and all the rest of it. I have got the rear screen. Might have to just sit that windscreen, the rear window on there, get that chrome, mock it all up and just make some sort of solid template, so we can put back in here, even hot glue it in a template, and so then we get our perfectly accurate corners here. But that said, I'm still not sure how to go about putting this in. I'm thinking about just cutting it all out here and making a cut along there, sort of to the center, and then trying to just bend this section up to match the bottom of the chrome, you know, or the template we make, and then I'll just be left with a gap along here, which I'll just have to fill in. But that's not going to solve this problem. So I might get a jack underneath that, from underneath, and see if I can pump this bit up to match this, you know, get some spacers first to get that right, and then pump this up to sort of meet that, and then work on that. So I think we'll try that first. Alright, so I've got these little jiggers here just for now. They pretty much the right height here, well, close. So I think we'll put one of these under each side, see if we can lift this boot up to match this, and see how it looks. Okay, so I just threw those spaces behind there just to mock it up. So alright, it's lifted it up a little bit, not much, but Jesus Christ, I mean, that's, you know, it's not too bad. I could probably live with that, but here I cannot live with that. So alright, let's get a jack under this section and try and pump this up. Okay, so I've just put that bit of timber in there up against that on a bottle jack, and I've given it a couple of pumps. So we'll just see if that's done anything. Okay, yeah. So that's lifted that up nice now. Whether it stays there or not, it's a different story, of course. But that's lifted that up flush. We've still got our... I can open that gap up easy just by bringing the boot out a bit. And we've got a bit of room to come out here, so that's fine. I might just take the pressure off that jack and see how much that goes down. Right, that just collapsed back down again, so I'm going to pump it even higher. Okay, well I jacked that up, and that's look along there, that's pretty well acceptable. This gap here, I can actually live with that. I'm not going to worry about that. That'll be okay. I do have to bring the boot forward, but this is all at the end anyway, when we fit all these panels up properly. I just got to bring that forward to open that gap up a smidgen, a few more mil. That will open that one up a touch more, but anyway, that's okay. I'm fine with that. This is the problem. So let's get that windscreen out, the rear window. We'll lay it down. We'll put the chrome on it and see how that all lines up, and then we'll base a template off that. Righto, so I've taped all that chrome trim around the glass. As you can see, I've got a pretty even gap between here, the glass and the trim, sort of all the way around. It's about a 5mm gap, as close as I can get it anyway. And that's sort of taped in. So when we put this back in, it doesn't really matter about the glass. It can sort of move a bit. It's this chrome trim that we need to get nice and snug. So that's what I've got to follow. So I think what I might do now is duck down the store and grab a sheet of, well, flexible but strong enough ply. And we'll try and match the curve and cut the template out on that piece of ply. I'll try and brace it somehow to keep that curve, you know, and then we'll use that bit of ply as our template. That's about all I can think of. So I'll duck down and grab a sheet and see how we go. Okay, change of plan. I found this piece of perspex lying around. So I've measured up the chrome trim, and that's all even both sides, as close as we can get it for 50-year-old trim. But anyway, so I've laid the perspex down on here, and first I did a rough cut around, and then I've taped it and clamped it down, and now I'm just running around the edges with the sander with some 80 grit to get it nice and even. I've done around here and around here to get it nice and even with the chrome trim. And we'll use that bit of perspex as our template for the left side. Then we'll flip it, and we should have the identical on the other side. So I'll continue sanding this little bit here, and then we'll see how that fits. And then we've got to come up with a plan on how to match all this steel in with the perspex. So we'll get to that in a minute, but right, I'll finish sanding this and we'll keep going. Okay, so I've put this in. So here's our gap here. It's quite a big gap right the way, and then I've flipped it, and it's not as big a gap there as it is here, but I've got to come up with something to close that gap. So I think I'll get rid of all this paint, wire wheel that back to metal, see how it's welded in. I can't remember how I welded it in. And see if I can unpick it and then maybe make a cut and move that up, bend that all up around to follow this. It's a real pain in the arse. I wish, yeah, I don't know, it's this section here. Everyone I've ever spoken to, like I mentioned, said they're just a piece of shit. So anyway, we've got to try and deal with it. So I'll grind all this paint off, we'll have a look and go from there. So I've popped all this up, and that's attached to this. So I've just set this template in there, and there you go, there's the gap. Like, it's over 15mm. So, and it's right the way across. So there's our boot gap, which I believe is still a few mil too wide. But the boot lines up lovely along the back here. So I know the boot's in the right spot here. Okay, so that's our guide. So I've been onto the mob. I bought this section off and mentioned it, and I've sent him some photos and he's going to look into it. And I did mention that I know other people have had problems with this part. So the bottom line is, and I'm going to be perfectly honest here, I am basically, what am I trying to say? I'm done with this, is what I'm trying to say. I am going to, because as you can see, have a look at the curves on it, right? This is one of the problems. It curves up this way, like this, and then it curves over that way, and then it curves around that way. So there's all these different curves. So I think I'm going to make the decision to pass this on to an expert. There is a mob in my area that have just moved here actually, and I know they're here because they were looking for staff. So this is a weekend. Monday after work I might call in there and have a chat to them and just pay someone to do this, because honestly I really am done with it. I don't trust myself to do it properly, and quite frankly I can't be fucked. So that's where we're at with that. I've made the decision that I'm not touching that anymore, unless you guys can come up with something. You guys that have got more experience than me, remember I'm only a one-man amateur band. If you guys have any ideas, my idea was to cut it down here. That's what that tape's there for. Cut it straight along there and up the other side. Cut it through there and just get this whole section and move it up and then weld it. But then I've got to plug that gap along there. So that's useless if that's what I have to do. Anyway, I'm going to put this one up before my battery runs out. Let me know if you guys have any ideas how I can fix this, because I really am at the end of my rope with it. I'm out of ideas. So let me know what you think, and I'll get back to you on the next one. Let you know how I went with the person who sold me this and the guys who I'm going to get hopefully to fix it before Christmas with any luck. Righto, have a good one and drop some comments and we'll get back to you shortly. Bye.